right, so this algorithm is Caesar Cipher. I call it Caesar Cipher salad because there's a lot of good stuff in there, and well, I guess we'll get into it. Thanks for tuning in. So, Caesar Cipher it takes in a string and it does string manipulation, which is great, good practice. And it takes in two parameters, a string and a number, and then we pass in the arguments. This is the string we want to manipulate, and the number represents the amount of characters we want each letter here in the string to shift in the alphabet. So if we put in the number 2, we want the T to shift 2 spaces in the alphabet. T, U, V, H, I, J, E, F, G, and so on. Alright, so we're going to do that. Now, 2 things just right off the bat is we want to deal with spaces, and we want to deal with punctuation. Well, 3 things, and capitalization. Those are issues, right? Because in JavaScript, capitals matter, and lowercase and uppercase are 2 entirely different things as far as JavaScript's concerned. So we're going to make everything lowercase, and then we're going to put the capital back after we've done our calculations. So let's do lowercase string equals string dot to lowercase. And we also want to scrub punctuation and spaces, and we'll put them back after we do our calculations. Excuse me. So to scrub it, we need some kind of scrubber, and I use the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Dot split. So take this string here and split it with each character into an array. So an array would be console.log alpha. See, that's an array. It's a container. Each element is a separate item in there. And if we remove split, it's just a straight up string, It's just text. So now we've got our alpha array, and we're going to create a new string, a new empty string, and we're going to do our calculations, and we're going to place it into our new empty string. So what are we going to do? We're going to say, let's loop through the lowercase string, and we're going to look at each character. So let I equals 0. I is less than lowercase string dot length, the entire length of the string, I++, increment by 1 each time we do our code. So the current letter equals lowercase string at I. Okay, so let's show you what that looks like. Current letter. Run, run. See? It looks at each character. So we have to take the spaces out. We got to take the punctuation out. So let's do that. If alpha dot index of the current letter is less than 0, new string plus equals the current letter. Now console.log the current letter. See that? Am I just getting to be too much, aren't I? getting to be too much. Let's not mess with this just yet. Wait a second. Continue. Let's watch it. There it is. Okay. See the difference? Do you see it? No, continue. Continue. So what it's doing is when you use continue, it says forget about what's below, you know, any code that's in here, because we're still in this for loop, right? So we still have access to the I variable, and we're still going through an iteration, right? So when you say continue, we say stop here, go on to the next value of I. So if I is 0 and I is less than lowercase string dot length, and then increment by 1 after, you know, you do the code in here. So we're just like, you know, don't even do this code once you find like a space or a character. I'll show you. So now we have access to just all the letters. So what is this here? We're going to alpha, which is now an array, and we're saying, hey alpha, the current letter that we're iterating through, do you have it? And we ask that question using index of. If alpha has it, it will return the current index of the letter. Okay? And if it doesn't have it, it will return -1. So I'm saying here, if it's less than 0, that means it's -1. Alpha's saying, I don't have this character in my array. And so that equates to spaces and so on. So watch. New string, old string. All right, so see it. Console.log, new string, old string. Watch it there. Watch it there, mister. Okay. See, we got an exclamation and we got a bunch of spaces here. So it's accounting for these spaces. I hope I'm not boring you to death. Just wanted to point this out because that was something that I had trouble with, the continue. What was continue doing, you know? Okay, onward. So we need to now deal with the characters, because, right, we've got all the letters in the alphabet, and we need to get the current index for each letter, because we have to shift it. In this case, 2 characters. So the T has to become V, H has to become J, E has to become G. So we got to get the current index, and we'll do let current index equals alpha, right, dot index of the current letter. Current letter. I'll show you this. See? That's where all these characters live in this array. You think of it as like a library. You know, if you go to a librarian, like years ago, you had to hand her a card, and she would go look up the index to find out where it is. And so they relied on this numbering system to find where the books lived. Same deal here. Okay, so now we're going to shift each character. So we're going to say new index equals the current index plus and so now let's look at it again. See, 19 became 21. So it's shifting twice. And now, watch this. New string plus equals. What am I doing? Alpha at the new index. Right, so whenever we want to actually access that value of the element in an array, not the index, but the value, we actually have to give it the index and it will go find the value. And so watch. There it is. There it is. So watch, return new string. See? There it is. TUVHIJEFG space QRS, right? UWI. Right? JK. We got our exclamation. Cool. Now, let's deal with capitalization. Let's deal with that situation. So if we've made our string all lowercase, so we actually have to deal with this argument here, or the parameter up here. This is a variable, and we're going to access this. And since we're still in our for loop, see, this is the brackets that represent the for loop, we have access to the I variable. So if we say string at I equals, oh, I'm learning Python, so now it's different syntax for that. All right, string at I dot to uppercase. If the current string is an uppercase string, do this doodad, but make it uppercase to uppercase. Oh. Okay. Else, just do it normally. Run. See, we got our capital V. So if we make the fox capital, we got a capital H now, right? EF, GH, right? H. So that is handling the spacing, the punctuation, the capitals. Ooh. Okay, so now we've got some special situations and we can't ignore them. What's so special? Well, if I put in 4, for instance, watch what happens. We get undefined. Why? Because X is located right here. So if we ask it to shift 4 spaces, 1, 2, after Z it goes nowhere. So it has to return to A again and just start counting from there, right? But right now we're not handling that. And so it's just falling off. It doesn't know where to go. See, the thing with programming is you have to pretty much tell it to do everything, or it won't know. Unless you're using libraries and modules, which is basically the state of coding, fortunately and unfortunately. Okay, so if new index is greater than what? 26? If it's greater than 26, new index equals new index minus 26. So we're saying if it gets to the end of the alphabet, start from the beginning. So this is 26 characters. Okay, 26 characters. And so when you do this calculation here with the number, if the index becomes larger than 26, Just start from 0. So let's see. Okay, so x now is b. X now is b. Remember before when I printed out what each index is? Watch. Ba 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 ba. Da, 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 da. I just made that up. Okay, so looking at Fox, which is like one of the last ones, right? So the last character is Fox. 25, right? It's right at the near the tip there, right? X. So we shifted it to Z, right? Which is the end. So we could say if it's greater than 25, see how the X is now 2 places, so it's 27. So we're saying go back to the beginning. Remember, with an array, we're using whole numbers, not natural numbers. Natural numbers start at 1 and count upward. And when we use the length command, we're using natural numbers. We're saying start from 1 and count physically like how many characters, which is 26 characters. But an array, to access an array, we're using whole numbers, and it starts from 0 all the way up to 25. So it's 26 characters. So if we're saying here, if the index is greater than 25, take the new index, subtract it by 26. And as you could see with the X, it was located X is located at 23. And if we put 2 characters in there, it goes to 25, which is a Z, right? That's the end of it. And then we pluck in 4, and we're saying go back to the beginning and count from 0, 1, which brings us to B. Okay? And that's the situation. Is it the situation? Is it really the situation? If we're saying 4, we're actually saying 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2. What the hell's going on? What is going on? Right, so that's still good. I think that's okay. So we're saying shift 4 places. 0, 1, 2, 3. Or if we want to use natural numbers, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no real difference between 26 and 25. But you might think I'm being anal with this, but you have to trust me. If you don't get like this logic right, it's going to screw things up, and you're going to be wondering and scratching your head like I was, which is why I'm highlighting this for you, because I love you and I want you to be happy. So index, new index is less than 0. Okay. What's this about? Well, ba 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 ba. What if we have a negative number? We're handling it. You see, it's all good here. But we have some negative numbers happening, right? So let's look at it. We'll take this out. E, A, B, C, D, E, right? So E goes backwards 2 spaces to C, right? We'll look at that one. But what happens if it gets back to like 4, you know? Now it's at 0. Now it's undefined because it's at -1. It doesn't know where to go. So what we want to say is after it gets below A, go back to Z. So we're just doing the opposite logic here. If it gets below 0, just add 26 on and just start from the end and count backwards. So as you can see, we don't have undefined here. So let me show you again. Undefined, undefined, and run, no problem. All right, let's get this doodad out. All right, so see why I call it Caesar Cipher Salad? There's just all these like little nuggets of truth that are in here, and it just makes for a great tool. Like if you can like become good at just conditionals and controlling a for loop and understanding, how to use like a scrubber, to remove punctuation or spacing and just manipulate strings, like all this good stuff is in here. So now we've got another use case. We've got another situation. What happens if I put like the number 50? Like what happens if I put something greater than 26 in? We get problems. We get big time problems. Okay, so let's look at this here. 27 is okay. 28. Hey, we're still doing all right. Get to 30. Oi, now we're getting undefines. We're running into issues. Because even when we subtract and minus, sometimes the number just gets so great that it just falls off anyway, Like it lands outside of the, A and the Z. So to handle that situation, we go num equals num modulus 26. So whatever the number is, we're going to divide by 26, and whatever the remainder is represents the num. And it fixes that problem. Look at that, it's solid. -300. Look at that, it's beautiful. All right, folks, that is the Caesar Salad Cipher. Caesar Cipher. It's going to be, something you'll probably come across if you wanted to pursue a career in engineering. They'll probably test you on it in a job interview. But I like to think of algorithms as just like super helpful if you want to learn to be a coder because you just like doing it. You like to work out your brain, strengthen your brain. Some people do Sudoku or chess. You could do coding, and it's just all these little nuggets of, I call them truth. They're just so helpful to know how to like access an array and like use index of and just be like trying to find an element in an array or just manipulating things. So just this is an important one to know, and with a little practice don't just memorize it, but understand every single little thing that is in here. That's what I really recommend. Know exactly what everything is doing and why. You do that, you'll be in good shape. All right, till next time, thanks for listening, and take care.